Hey YouTube fam, it's Sheena, and as promised, and as you can tell by the title, this is going to be the how I quit my job video. And that won't be the only thing that I'm discussing. I plan to also discuss why I quit my job and the next steps that I took to ensure that I was financially stable, moving on to the next career venture. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you are not subscribed, you can easily do that below by clicking the button. I hope you guys enjoy sit down videos like this, and let's go ahead and jump in. All right, so if you're still here, you want to hear more about why I quit my job, how I quit my job, and what my next steps are. Before I jump into any of those, I want to also give you guys some quick background so that all of this ties in and makes sense. I'm 28 years old. I'm in the technology field. I'm an IT professional, specifically an IT manager, and I live in New York City. I've been here for about 3 years. Now, with this job that I quit, here's the reason why. I quit my job for this basic reason without getting into too much detail, because you got to keep the personal shit kind of personal. They just weren't accommodating me, but I felt like I was not being supported. There was an IT manager there. He wasn't really fulfilling the job. He was let go, and then I was set into his position just kind of on the fly and had to basically support the company by myself as a sole IT person for 7 months. It got to a point where I was just extremely burned out. And you guys know this feeling when you've been taking your SATs, your LSATs, whatever it may be. Maybe you're running around taking care of the kids and you get to a point where like you literally have no more mental capacity for anything else. Like it feels like your mind is going a million miles an hour. I felt like it was so hard to go to sleep at night, to where even Dustin could confirm that I would be up until 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning on work nights, also being underpaid. It got to a point where I was like, you know what, this is not a good relationship for me. I feel like it's becoming more toxic than it is beneficial, and so I had to find my way out. So that is the why. That's why I left the company that I was with for almost 2 years. So I'm sure now you guys are probably thinking, either I don't really feel that way, I love my job, or I kind of feel that way. How do I go about quitting this said job? So that's the thing. You have to know what your next steps are. So you have to know what the plan is. So before I get into how you plan and map out all of that, I'm gonna give you guys the basics of how you quit your job. This is something I feel like is so elementary, but I feel like it works. Number one, get a sheet of paper out and list down all the pros and cons of this job. That can mean anything. That can be they don't offer free coffee and lunch, I'm underpaid, or a pro, I love my employees, I love where the headquarters are, it's smack dab in the middle of Soho or Midtown. I don't know. Just have your pros and cons laid out of why you love the job and why you strongly dislike the job. And then see which list is longer. For me, the cons list was obviously longer. Step 2 is to ensure you have something lined up. So let's talk about next steps as they pertain to me. When I was leaving this company, I had a very deep heart to heart with Dustin, who is my fiance. And I let him know that maybe it's my personality, maybe I'm not meant to work for somebody. And there are a lot of people like that out here. There are so many of them. And if you really go back to any makeup artist or actor or, videographer and just kind of listen to their story, usually they started out working a regular 9 to 5, just like all of us, and then something had to give. They weren't meshing with their managers. They were doing the same thing over and over again and not seeing results. Whatever that is, you're gonna come to that point in your life where you're gonna have to decide, am I just not good working for other people? And if so, how do I get out of this industry? And for me, I'm not gonna lie, I think I'm kind of there, because I've been in the industry for a long time. I told you guys I was 28 years old this year. Actually, I'll be 29 in a month. I have been working since I was 16, 15 years old. That's a long time. We're talking over a decade. And so it gets to a point where you've been consistently working on other people's companies and other people's initiatives and brands. And then you wonder bro, when am I gonna start working for myself and taking care of myself? Either I'm going to look for a phenomenal company that I know I can do the job and not be running around like a chicken with my head cut off, and actually have time to develop and maybe work a little bit on myself as well. Or I'm not going back into the work industry at all, and I'm just going to work for myself. So those were my 2 options. When you get down to this point, the next thing you have to figure out is, can you financially support yourself if you decide to not go back into the work field? And that is somewhere that unfortunately I'm just not at. To quit your job and jump into making your own startup, your own brand, maybe YouTubing full time, that takes you having a nest egg. If you're looking to quit this job and you don't have your financials laid out, there is a very good chance that you are going to end up failing financially because you have to be able to support yourself. So for me personally, my scenario, I decided to move on and join another company. So keep my full-time job and keep working on my side hustle. And I will say I'm not like sad about it because the timing was just not right. Timing is everything. And it may take me a few years to build up that nest egg, or maybe this YouTube thing will take off. But until then, I'm gonna stick with this job, build up my nest egg, learn and develop, because why not? It's there, and support them to my best ability. And when that time comes, I would hope that this company supports me leaving and chasing my dreams. But again, you have to get to that point where you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. What is the next thing that I can do that will make me happy, even if it's temporary, until I fully work for myself? You got to be realistic, guys. Think about it from my point of view. I'm an IT manager, which is a non-creative field. And so there's a part of me that still needs to come home and work on my videos and my photo editing and my blog to feel fulfilled. With that said, you're probably wondering, well, then how do I jump into this new job or possibly my side hustle? You have to have a good foundation. So let's say the company you were working for was maybe like a clothing company like Forever 21. Maybe you were working there and you're just over it. Maybe you're not being paid enough. Maybe you're not feeling valued. These things happen. If that's the case, start preparing yourself for what you want your career to be. So for instance, my dream job, what I would love to do for the rest of my life, is anything involving film. I would love to be a director, a producer, a videographer, an editor. I love everything about it. I've also been going to school for it. It's where my passion is. So even though I have this amazing job coming up and I can't wait to jump in head first and support this company, I also have to make sure that I'm still working on my side hustle, which is film. So we've got our 9-to-5, which is funding our dream, our side hustle. Well, how do you drive the side hustle? How do you get that to grow faster than your 9-to-5 so that you can eventually quit the 9-to-5? All of this requires you maximizing on your skills. So let's say you want to be a videographer like me or a director. You have to be continuously watching film, learning about things like photography, because it has to do with cameras. Just knowing everything about the industry that you want to jump in is so important. It's about your skill set. So the program that I've been using to just learn more about the film industry, even the IT field, because I'm still in it and that field is constantly evolving and adapting to new technologies, I've been using an online platform that is actually our video sponsor for today. So shout out to SkillShare for sponsoring this video. I've been using SkillShare long before they contacted me to do this video. And so I was so happy when they reached out, because it's actually a product that I use that I think would definitely be useful to you guys, no matter what it is that you're trying to do. So now you're probably wondering, Sheena, what the hell is SkillShare? SkillShare is basically an online platform where you could learn anything you want to learn. Some of you guys even asked me, like, how do you get your hand lettering on point? SkillShare. One thing I especially love about SkillShare is that all the classes are just open to you, so you're not having to pay per class to learn something new. I literally sat down for, I want to say, 2.5 hours last week and went over an entire training that was led by a photographer named Justin Bridges, and he was actually based out of New York, which is really cool. So I got to see him walk around New York and use his camera, and he was teaching things like aperture and ISO and how to control your lighting and how to work with a model. And it was so informative, you guys. Like, I feel like I know so much more about my camera than I ever had, and I've had this camera for over 4 years. So it's like, wow, come on. And guys, I forgot to mention, there are 17,000 classes available. If you decide to go premium, you get unlimited classes and anything that you want to learn. You get to learn from multiple teachers, and the annual subscription is less than $10 a month. You can't beat that. So as you guys can tell, your girl loves SkillShare. I've been using it so much for the past couple of weeks. I even just finished up a whole entire series about how to vlog because my vlogs can get better. And so it's all about improving yourself. So with that said, SkillShare and I have paired up to get you guys a promo so that you can join and check it out too. The promo link will be below. And for the first 500 people that sign up, SkillShare will be giving you 2 months for 99 cents. Guys, 99 cents. You spend more of that on a Frappuccino from Starbucks. Invest in yourself. And the third step of how to quit your job is just to do it. Eventually, you're gonna have to have that hard conversation with your boss. And I definitely did because I'm really big on not disappointing people. And so when I had to talk to him, all I could feel was like, he's going to be so disappointed. And that's the only reason why it made me anxious. But in my deepest heart of hearts, I knew this is what I wanted to do and that I had to do it. So pick the right timing, put it in documentation, so write it out in an email or a PDF, something, and then have a verbal, formal conversation with your boss. This way you have it in 2 forms, verbal and nonverbal. And so no one can say the conversation did not happen when it did, because a timeline is very important. I will say the takeaway from the whole video is to set yourself up for success if you plan on quitting your job. It should never be something where you quit your job and then you're like, now what? So just remember these simple steps. Know your why, get a list down, pros and cons, figure out why you really don't belong in this industry or in this company. Step 2 is to quit the right way. So to line up a new company that you know you'll be happy at, whether it's for long-term or for temporary while you chase your dreams. And then also make sure to alert your boss, alert your team, and give them time for you to transition out. And even if that time doesn't work out for both parties, just be very explicit in your reasonings. And lastly, don't forget to use any type of resource around you to better yourself, to better your dream or your side hustle. So use SkillShare, use YouTube, use any online resources that are going to help you learn more about your skill so that you can get out here and start doing it full-time on your own. It's all about, can you take all the skills that you know and that you're very good at and monetize off of them? Are you able to build a hustle out of something like making hair bows or doing DIYs or anything else along that realm? There are so many different things that you can do. It's basically funneling down what's most important to you, what you're most passionate about, and jumping after that. So I apologize if you guys thought this was like a I quit my job and now I'm doing nothing type of video, but I want you guys to see what it looked like from a real person's point of view, because in the real world, you can't just get up and quit your job whenever you're ready with no financial support. So if you see people on YouTube doing it, I know I've seen it quite a bit, just know that it's not as easy as it sounds. Usually they're depending on their spouse, their parents, multiple loans, or they really do have a lucrative side hustle, and so they're able to support themselves and their families. So that's all, folks. If you're not subscribed, be sure to do that below. If this video was helpful to you, be sure to give me a thumbs up and let me know, and I will keep doing videos like this. If you're not following me on Snapchat, I post motivational minutes every day on there, like little quick life hacks and tips to get you through your day. And that's about it. Thank you guys so very much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.